A Crow Named Joe by Peter Eyvindson, illustrated by Doug Keith. That crow! We could have called him Sam, or we could have called him Bill. We could have called him Piccadilly, Ichabod, or Phil. But we called him Joe, a plain old crow, a crow named Joe. We found him in the pasture out behind the barn. We didn't want to hurt him or do him any harm, so we took him home to Mamma to see what she would say. Could we have him? Could we? Could we keep him? Could we? And Mamma said, "Okay." First, inside a box, we made a nest of hay, but every time we put him in, Joe Crow always ran away. We tried to build a house of sticks and stones and stuff, but Joe Crow didn't like it. He made that clear enough. Joe Crow was peculiar. You might call him strange. He limped and lurched about, pretending he was lame. He would squawk and grumble, moan and pout, and sometimes he would whine, but whenever there was food about, he was always first in line. Oatmeal was his favorite, and sometimes it was stew, and when there was no other, he ate a fly or two. We don't know what started Joe upon his life of crime. It could have been a nickel, or it might have been a dime. We don't know why he took away this worthless pile of loot, but do you know where he hid it? Inside my rubber boot. We found clothespins and safety pins, hairpins and straight. We found buttons and bobbins and a hinge off the gate. We found lace that was frilly and silk that was not, and a whole bunch of marbles and a lid off a pot. He took it. We know it, but we don't know why. Joe Crow was so sneaky and crafty and sly. He was always into trouble. He was always having fun, and to keep him out of mischief, we were always on the run. That day Mamma saw her garden. I thought that she might croak. Joe Crow ate off all the pea pods and gave her cukes a poke. Our neighbor Peggy Murphy's cat was really most upset when she saw that big black feathered thing we called her family pet. She came across the field one day hunting for her prey. A sparrow would be tasty, or a robin was okay. But a crow? Oh no, not a crow! Black feathers started flying and bits of tattered fur, and we all came running. They were causing such a stir. That cat took off as fast as she could go, but every time she thought it safe, she got attacked by Joe. He pounced on her and pecked at her and gave her such a clout. She headed straight for Peggy's house and never came back out until that day when Joe Crow went away. He left the shed that morning, and he didn't say goodbye. He just left us without warning, and he didn't tell us why. Where had he wandered? Where did he go? Was he dead? Was he injured? What happened to our crow? We still don't know. We watched fall turn into winter, and still no sign of Joe. We'd love to have him back, that silly old crow. This spring we'll check the pasture just to see if Joe's not there, or maybe find some other crow who needs our love and care. But we'd never call him Joe. We could call him Sam, or maybe call him Bill. We might call him Piccadilly, Ichabod, or Phil. But we'd never call him Joe. There could never be another crow quite like Joe.